Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your January 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here, and I just did Cancer's forecast last night, and I was just looking at the amazing amount of Capricorn energy in their seventh house, and for you, this is falling in the fourth house of home and family. It's not really that unusual to have transits in Capricorn as January begins because the sun is in Capricorn and these personal plants. But last year, Mars was not in Capricorn, it was in Gemini, your fellow air sign. So, this is something that we could talk about as being significant. How long has it been since Mars has been in your fourth house? So anyway, let's just start from the beginning. On the first of the month, Mercury goes direct at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Actually, I'm recording this in December, and Mercury began its retrograde in, wait for it, that fourth house. So now it's going direct in the third house because during its transit, during the last half of December, it went back into Sagittarius and it goes direct on the first. So it's very quick. A Mercury retrograde doesn't last too long. People are always like freaked out about it, or not everybody's freaked out, but it's not something that is that big of a deal because it's so short-lived, but it is going to be in a different house when it goes direct. It's going to be in your third house. And what I like to do when I talk about retrogrades is to look at if they span more than one sign and more than one house, where are they going and what is the connection between those two houses? Well, the fourth house is often said to be the mother, or some people say the father. I say the family of origin, and I specifically mean the parents, one of the parents at least. The third house can be the siblings. Now, the fourth house can also be real estate. So, since Mercury can be some kind of contracts, that could be something that is having to be reworked for some reason. So, but definitely with communication issues involving family members, the third house can also be extended family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, any kind of miscommunication that could be part of what is going on. But even, something along those lines that the signals are getting crossed, and then but contracts can be part of the third house, so that could definitely be going on. And then on the fourth, Mars goes into the fourth house. Now, what's interesting about that is that until the fourth, Mars has been in the third house, which in some cases can indicate conflict with siblings. Maybe it is over a property or just something to do with a parent, maybe how they're taking care or not taking care of a parent. As sometimes brothers and sisters don't always help out equally, and so that can be problematic. But also, an interesting thing too is that the third house can be neighbors, and so when Mars is in the fourth house, the fourth house can be any kind of renovation. And with your house, for instance, like construction or something like that. So there might be kind of clashes with neighbors that ends with you just saying, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do this. I don't care what other people think. I don't care what my neighbors think. But with Mercury retrograding in that third house, that could also be that there is people are not on the same page, and they're not understanding what each other maybe, or you're not understanding them, they're not understanding you, either one. On the 11th, we have a new moon at 20 degrees of Capricorn in that fourth house, so that could be new developments there. And 2 days later, Mercury goes back into Capricorn, so you can see that it is coming back up to speed, and it's going back to the fourth house. So it's communicating with a mother or a father, maybe a document that, like I was going to say a housing contract. What do you call those? A mortgage? I don't know. Ugh, it's the morning. That being reworked, and now you can sign it, and it's kosher. It's okay. On the 20th, the Sun and Pluto go into Aquarius, so this is fellow air sign, and this is oh wow, this is really amazing in a way for Libra individuals, in the sense that this is your fifth house, and it trines you, which is like a very harmonious angle. So that's very supportive for manifesting these areas of life. It's love and creativity, and you have a certain link to love, being ruled by Venus and being the ruler of the seventh house, which is committed partnerships. So there you go. And so the significance is the Sun actually entering Aquarius on the same day as Pluto. I think that is really, I actually think it's very auspicious, because it really speaks to the Aquarian age more than anything else I've seen. Some people said that Jupiter and Saturn going into, forming a conjunction around the winter solstice, I think it was of 2021, was a sign of the Aquarian age. And that didn't do it for me, because they don't have the same kind of transit that Pluto has. They have they're not generational planets in the same way. So I feel that, Pluto is going to stay even longer than it did when it was in Capricorn. It's going to stay in Aquarius for 20 years. So we can really look at the next 20 years as as a period of great change, but like a populist kind of change. So anything that has to do with the people rising up. I mean, this is the Pluto return of the American Revolution and the French Revolution, and those were populist uprisings. So that's the same thing, but the Sun represents our aspirational self. So it really is, for the collective, it is that highest sense of our identity and direction at this time. So I feel very good about that. And for you, this is happening in that house of love and creativity. Now, I mean, I have a Pluto video for use, and I included Saturn and Pisces. This was one that I did last year when both of those, or earlier this year when both of those planets were going into their respective signs in March of 2023. And so you can check my channel for that one if you're interested in more about Pluto going into Aquarius. I'm just going to touch upon it very briefly and say that this could be a very important person who comes into your life in terms of love. You could transform your attitude, or some experience in love could be transformed for you so that you have a whole new outlook on it. Now, I will say that you could also interpret this in a more challenging way and say that this could indicate somebody that comes into your life who's very controlling. So it's good to kind of keep your eye out for that specifically. If somebody comes into your life and is very charismatic and even like very like, oh, we need to be together, and wants to rush things, that should be a big red flag, and you can kind of nip it in the bud, so to speak. So that's, to me, one of the great things about transits is that they can help you to see things ahead of time and, kind of head it off at the pass. It could even be a Scorpio individual, since Pluto's one of the rulers of Scorpio. But it could be somebody who's very obsessive, controlling, like a stalker type of person. I'm not saying that every Libra person will experience this, but what it could do, because some of you Libra sun sign individuals have Venus in Scorpio or Mars in Scorpio. You might even have the moon in Scorpio in some cases. And that can apply to Libra rising as well. And you may need to shift your attitude towards love. Maybe you have an obsessive nature and you meet your match, so to speak, and that makes you realize how wrong it is to do something like that. And by the way, if you do recognize yourself in your remarks, I'm not saying that to shame you or to criticize you. I'm saying that because it really, sometimes we're raised in a way, or maybe we have certain traumatic experiences that kind of cause us to act like that, and it isn't because the person is necessarily trying to be that obsessive towards another person or controlling, but it's just like, it's kind of like a defense mechanism, I would call it. So you can learn how to heal that, and really be more free in love if you tend to be more fear-based, I would say. If you're an artist, you could produce an amazingly powerful work of art. Because Pluto can be very moving, profound, and that can be something that, when somebody produces something of that magnitude, it's got to be such an amazing feeling for that individual too. Not just like the ego getting stroked, but that sense of what they're capable of. So, Pluto is all about transformation, and that can just have a very profound effect on your life, your creative endeavors. And if you decide to have children, if you haven't had any, and you decide to have any, you could have like a very profound experience. Some people, and of course, I don't, recommend that people who are troubled have children, but they have it whether I like it or not, so it is what it is. And they say that that child saved their life, and it turned around their life. So sometimes these things do happen where a child can be very transformational for the person. I believe the fifth house is your firstborn child. On the 23rd, Venus goes into Capricorn, and there's another planet in that fourth house. Now, Venus can bring money, and harmony, so any kind of aggression might be smoothed over, but money is the honey, so that might shut you up if you're on the warpath. Or, and that could be like if you're trying to sell a home, that you get the proceeds from it. And maybe all it took was that the contract was jacked up and you had to get it unjacked up. On the 25th, we have a full moon at 5 degrees of Leo, and this is your 11th house of hopes and wishes, gains, and friendships and groups. Especially with gains, that's your profits from your business or your career. That could indicate more money. Maybe there's some kind of raise, or you're making more profits in your business. And some of you may find out about a friend, and there could be like a crisis in some cases with full moons, but it can simply be letting go of some friendship or letting go of some group. And Libra individuals are very social, so you may have a lot of people that you pal around or that you like to socialize with, or groups that you belong to, but sometimes they're not a good fit anymore, and you can say goodbye. And if anyone can do so with finesse, it would be a Libra individual. Maybe you realize a dream of yours. On the 27th, Uranus turns direct at 19 degrees of Taurus. So this is your 8th house, and this is something that you also have Jupiter here. Both of these are planets associated with freedom, and also, I would say, spirituality, and kind of, maybe with Uranus it's a bit of a stretch, but Uranus might be the Kundalini awakening, and Jupiter is more of the straightforward religious influence. The 8th house is Scorpio's domain, and that can be metaphysics and the occult. Oh, I can't stand that word because, it's almost like they say, it's almost seems like it's synonymous with Satanism or something, which they include the tarot and astrology with this area. And, suffice it to say, I don't think those things are satanic in the least. And so I don't really like that word. The word occult means hidden. And, these practices are far from hidden as we are entering 2024. But still, are they mainstream? Yeah, kind of, sort of. But there's something about this area of life that is making you seek freedom. And this is the area of transformation. Because Pluto is one of the rulers here, Mars is the other ruler. But there can be trauma. This can be the area of, like, trauma, past trauma, and the shadow self. And I think that Libra exemplifies the need to excavate the shadow self, or to expose it and heal it, because Libra is definitely one of those signs that you're very wanting of being viewed as a kind person, which is laudable. It's better than, taking pride in being a jackhole. I'm not going to name names of signs that might resemble those remarks, but they exist. And yet, you have to own your shadow, meaning that you can say, yeah, I'm actually full of a lot of rage right now about this particular incident towards this person, and that you're able to admit that to yourself and maybe even to others without feeling like you're a bad person, without feeling guilty, in other words. And so it's a process, but I feel like that Uranus here has maybe created a lot of chaos around certain issues, because another area that the 8th house represents is shared resources. So I was talking about family matters. The 8th house can be inheritance. Jupiter here can definitely suggest receiving an inheritance during this transit, which lasts until May of 2024. And then Jupiter goes into Gemini. So with Uranus direct, I think that there might not be as many twists and turns, but you still have to keep an eye out for things coming about that seem very out of the blue. Actually, there's a conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter around April 20th, I believe. I was listening to another astrologer discussing this because I hadn't, talked about it myself. And I think it's around that time in the spring. So that could, I honestly, I don't know if this is accurate, but I would place dividends in the eighth house because they're money that you get that you're not earning yourself. So maybe you have this wild stock surge or something that seemingly comes out of the blue. Maybe you have a penny stock that suddenly takes off. Who knows? But anyway, that could be very profitable for you. So just keep an eye out for that because now Jupiter is also direct here. All right, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, which are perfect for this very time that we're in because we're it's going to be for 2024. It's actually a two reading package. The first one is a natal chart interpretation, and the second one are transits for 2024. Each of the readings is at least an hour in length, and the price for those 2 hours is $85.85 US dollars. I do sell those readings separately, and they're like at least $55. So we're talking about $110, and so you can see it's quite a savings by getting both of them, and they are companion pieces. That's the best thing. And some people have been getting my triple reading package, which also includes a full-length tarot reading, and that's called the whole enchilada. If you're one of those people who likes the tarot as well and you want to take advantage of a discount, you can find out more information about those packages, my standalone readings for love and career and natal chart of children at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Bye.